Hi, welcome to Andrea's kitchen. Thank you for coming in and cooking with me today. Today we're going to be making my pepper steak. This is my version of a pepper steak. This is the one my family loves. So I took the bell peppers out of my garden. Mine are so much smaller than the stores, but boy, they pack a good punch. So this is about, all told, you only need one bell pepper green and one red. Unfortunately, mine are so small I had to use like four. But I have a little red one here, so I'm going to cut this up so that you guys can see me doing this. Just wanted to save some time and get some of it cut up because, like I said, I have very small bell peppers, but they're all fresh from my garden, so I do want to use them, and I'm so grateful we're able to grow them every single year. My husband has worked on our garden for years. So I'm very excited. So I'm just going to cut a few pieces off here. I keep mine pretty thin. They cook easier, faster, and guess what? We love it that way. Cut your vegetables how you like them, but thinner will make it cook faster, especially because this is a pepper steak stir fry. But it's easy, it's economical. You can use whatever kind of meat you like. I prefer filet mignon when I'm doing it, but today we have two steaks, and I usually do a steak for each person. And so we've got a New York steak. I got two of them for $9, so that's what we're going to use today. But like I said, you can use any. People who can cook flank steak, they usually do this dish very well. I'm not that person. I'm kind of like, I like my filet mignon, my New York steak, my ribeye. I'm kind of one of those. So today we're using New York. So I'm just almost done cutting up these bell peppers. Then we're going to jump right over to our meat. Just keep your fingers tucked when you're cutting. Small, small. That's what I do. We don't want to be missing any fingers or try to add any seasonings that do not need to be needed to our dinner. That's what I always tell everybody. Nope. So I'm going to tuck now the fingers. And like I said, I like my bell peppers done because I don't want to have to sit there and overcook them. Usually my veg is done in between 2 and 3 minutes. The bell pepper, you want to do it kind of crunchy. So this is how your bell pepper is going to look. So we're going to jump right over to the meat. Switch it over. And I already cut one steak. Today, like I said, I'm only doing two. But normally I would do three. But it's just me and hubby eating today, so that's all I'm doing for today. Just cut your steak not too thick. You don't want it to take too much time to cook. Sometimes you can get a hotter sear and it'll cook much easier. So this is why I normally use filet mignon or a ribeye. It does, in my opinion, cut a little bit easier. But you know, like I said, you grab what you can grab when you can grab it. And right now, meat is very expensive. So you have to get your meat on sale. And if you can't get it on sale, I say, hey, have another dish. That's when chicken or a pasta comes into the dinner table just as good as a steak. But this steak is delicious. I normally will buy it from my local market here. Otherwise, you know, I'll go to the butcher and buy, or, you know, I am a big fan of Costco. I can buy a lot of meat all at one time for a pretty decent price. You know, I always watch my prices though. And unfortunately, now we're pinching pennies. We all need to watch our wallets real close. Watch every dime we spend, because food is expensive now, and now gas is expensive. We won't even get me started there. I will just continue to finish cutting my steak. So this is a very, very easy dinner too. Even after work I can come, or after hanging out with my mom, I can come and make this dinner, and it won't take me long at all. Versus other dinners sometimes I come up with that just, I'm in that kitchen for hours. So what I'm going to do here is I also want to let you know I cooked 2 pouches of Uncle Ben's white rice. And I already pre-did that because, the only thing is I wanted to let you know, I always do mine for 17 minutes. I think it makes my rice a little bit more tender. So I do mine for 17. I use the Uncle Ben's and I do mine for 17. I think they say cook it for 15. I do mine for 17. I like my rice texture that way. Okay, so it's not a specific seasoning or an amount. Just basically you're going to dust with onion powder. You can use real onion if you like. I'm not a fan of onion. I never use onion on mine. That's why I say it's my version. I use onion powder, and my family doesn't prefer the onion in there either. They actually like the onion powder, and they love the bell peppers. That's their jam. And then I'm going to take a little bit of lemon pepper, but I'm just barely dusting the meat. I don't want a lot because I don't want it to overpower my beautiful sauce that I make for my stir fry. So just a little bit. Okay, so we've got our meat done. We got our veggies done. We are ready to start frying. I'm excited. Okay, I'm going to get my pan on, and it's going to be a max sear. And as soon as I get everything together, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I have about a tablespoon of oil in my pan. I'm going to go ahead and do my veg first. So I'm going to go ahead and put my nice bell pepper in. And my bell pepper are going to cook for about 4 minutes. Because I'm going to go in after I'm done cooking the meat, I will return my bell pepper to the pan. But right now it's on a max sear, and I have it on my New Wave induction cooker. I love the way this cooks. This is how I usually do our stir fries, all our Asian, our fried rices and stuff like that. So I'm just going to let it cook. I did not add any salt and pepper because I'm going to be using soy. And I'm going to make this little sauce that I pour over everything on the meat and the veg. And then that's going to be based like with soy sauce, sugar, and my cornstarch and water. And then I will also be using garlic and ginger on my meat as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. And I have one bowl that I actually dump everything into when I'm cooking. And I take everything out of it so that I can keep all the flavors in this one bowl. So it's kind of cool. I use this one when I'm ready to transfer something in. And then that way I have all the goodness, all the bits at the bottom of the pan. Keep your flavors, it's goodness. And like I said, I'm not going to add any salt because I have the soy. I'm not adding any pepper because I already have lemon pepper and some onion powder on my meat. I also will be using a half a teaspoon of ginger, and I'll be using a whole tablespoon of fresh garlic when I go to cook my meat. So like I said, just make sure your veg doesn't get burned or anything like that. And I test mine because my family likes their vegetables nice and crunchy when we eat our stir fries and things like that. They like that everything's not mushy. So we're good here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off my bell peppers. I think it feels good. Yep, pretty good. And I just wanted to let you see, look at the color is just beautiful with the red and the green. And I would usually recommend you do for a presentation the actual green and red, but use what you have because like I said, food's expensive right now. We have the luxury of having our garden, but it is time, effort, and money we do put into the garden. So we do want to eat our fresh veg. So thank God I actually had one little bell pepper that was kind of red, which is nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, transfer my bell pepper. I'm going to get my pan back on max. I'm going to put about a teaspoon, well, a little bit more, about a tablespoon of oil. And I'm using canola oil, by the way. I'm going to let my pan get really nice and hot, back on a high sear. And then what I'm going to do is put my meat in. Because I'm cooking at high heat, I'm not putting my garlic in first. I'm going to actually put my meat in, and then I'm going to add my garlic, because otherwise I will burn my garlic. And I do not want burned garlic. And see, as soon as I drop my meat, it will cool my pan, and that way it will ensure that my garlic does not burn. So, okay, I'm going to do my little test. Oh yeah. Okay, there's my sizzle. But like I said, it's going to drop my pan down tremendously. Okay. Okay. Oh, that sounds good. That's a good sizzle to have. Okay, now I'm going to dump my garlic in. I'm just going to put it over my meat, and it is a full tablespoon. In our family, we like the garlic. It's good for you. We like it. If you want to add more, add more. It's your dinner. But if you're not a big garlic fan, you can use garlic powder as well. And just don't use as much as I did. Just go and use at least 2 teaspoons, because I have a tablespoon. So you want to use at least 2 teaspoons. Okay, so like my family's not a big ginger fan. We like our ginger, but we're not as big of a fan of ginger as we are garlic. So basically, we only use half. I'm supposed to use a teaspoon of ginger, but I use a half a teaspoon because we like the element that it brings to the dish, the flavor. And I have 1 piece of fat in here that does not belong there. So I'm going to pull that little thing out right now. And we're just going to let this brown. Garlic's smelling wonderful. But I keep tossing it just so that, because I'm on a max sear, I want to get a little bit of a sear on the steak. But it's not a big deal. But I like it that way. But I also like my steak grilled on our grill too. So won't take it very long to cook. Takes all of about 6 minutes to cook the bell pepper. It takes maybe about 5 minutes to cook the meat. You don't want the meat to be overcooked, because if you have overcooked meat or dry meat, it's tough meat. My husband is a pretty medium well kind of guy, and this does not offend him, but it will be cooked all the way through. It'll just have some juice in it. And now I'm the opposite. I like mine mooing, but not everybody's that way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put our ginger in and just keep mixing. Because now the steak is developing its own juices. Smells delicious. I wish we had smell vision like the chefs always say on TV, because boy, it smells delicious. Okay, we're just going to let it cook until we don't really see any pink right here, and we're good to go. Okay, basically washing the hands here. When I go ahead and put the veg back in just a second, I'm going to open my rice bags, get them opened. They're nice and hot. But basically, it doesn't take very long at all to cook this dish. We are pretty much done with the rice. And the meat is pretty much done. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the vegetables back in. And I'm going to let everything cook for a minute. See the colors? Boy, that's beautiful. Look at those colors. Smells delicious. Okay. Just going to let that cook for about a minute. Get all those flavors married in there together. Mmm, smelling really delicious. Okay, it doesn't matter if you like a lot of rice or if you don't like a lot of rice. Just put the amount you want. Normally I don't put it in such a big bowl, but we're just going to take out of it. Me and my husband dish it right there at the table. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep my pan on max sear. I am going to take my soy sauce. It's 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. I'm going to go ahead and put my sugar in. I'm going to give it a little stir. And this drops my pan down because I put liquid, room temperature or a cold liquid in there. So this is what we wanted to do, because right now I'm going to take 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch and I'm going to put it into my water. And then I'm going to mix it and drop it in. That's what's going to give me some body to my sauce. And remember, it's not a super sauce, a super soupy sauce. It's more like it's just going to stick to the meat, and the flavors you're going to have after it cooks down for a second is going to go straight onto the rice. If you want more sauce, make a little extra, or I would say just use a little bit of soy sauce if you need more than this. But we never do, and we're saucy kind of people. Okay, so we're up to a high sear. So we're just going to go ahead and let this sit here for a minute, and then all of a sudden it's going to start bubbling and we'll be done. Dish will be done. That's why I say it's not a very time-consuming dinner at all. Relatively inexpensive. 2 steaks I bought today for $9. I had more steaks in the freezer, but they're in 3s or 4 packs, because that's what I normally feed our family, a 3 or 4. So basically that's why I chose to use those. And like I say, just get your steak when it's on sale. Okay, so see how this is starting to thicken? This is beautiful. Basically, as soon as this thickens, we are done. Dinner is done. That's why I say you don't need too much. You want to be able to taste the white rice. You want to taste the bell peppers. You want to taste the lemon pepper, the onion powder, and you want to taste the beautiful meat. And if you don't like meat, I'm sure you can do pepper chicken, and I'm sure there's a great tofu recipe out there. But it is ready, and it looks delicious. So let me go ahead and get this scooped over. And this is what we would feed our family. This, like I said, is inexpensive. Oops, let me turn that off. I want to go ahead and show you how it looks. Really inexpensive. Looks delicious. You can see your rice. You can see the rice here. The meat. And I have more left over in my pan, but I would like you to be able to see everything, like the beautiful rice. And I'm going to take a piece of the, Really good. You're going to enjoy this. It's got a nice little sweet hint with the sugar. But with the bell pepper, I get a little heat. The rice tastes delicious. So if you like the meal and if you like the content, please like and subscribe. And I want to thank you very much.